everyone. It's crazy. Actually, I don't have anyone to go off of to be like, are we live? Can people hear us? But I do see my audio. I see where I'm at, and I'm not afraid. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Nerd On Update, the weekly show where it's only me. This is the weekly show where only Tom talks about their nerdy news and answer questions from you guys, because you guys will put it in the chat, and then I'll read them off, and then I'll answer them. It's the nerd show. It's the news. It's a catch up along. It's to talk with y'all from the Nerd On folks, everyone who loves nerdy things and wants to talk about it. And it's always impromptu. It's always non-scripted. Where we talk about the news that doesn't get us sad about other things that the news talks about. But we are going to talk about some nerdy stuff. But first of all, what I want to do is talk a little bit about the week. What's been going on, because this is a chance for y'all to be like, oh, like I'm with somebody, in the time of technology, we're supposed to be connected. We're always so disconnected, right? So, yeah, this week has been, this last week was really interesting. I had a friend, and I do not wish to divulge information because job security and stuff like that. I had a friend who works at a Disney. I'm going to keep it at the biggest branch ever. And they invited me to go watch an employee and friends screening of Deadpool and Wolverine. And it was really cool. It was at El Capitan. It was on the lower floors. I never sat on the lower floors. I usually sat on the above floors, and that's where like the seats are like really cramped. But even then, the seats were like super tight. But yeah, so we did that, and watched. I saw Mr. Kevin Feige talk about the movie, and then the next day, Corey and I went to Comic-Con, and we saw a bunch of stuff. We not everything. We weren't live when all you guys are all seeing everything, but we did see some crazy stuff. Maybe we'll talk about it there. Maybe we will we'll talk about some other things in the future. But yeah, are you having some problems, T-Dog, with the buffering? Oh no, I hope not. Um, I see mine's coming in all right, but maybe the stream here is not. Well, let's hope that it is playing. Let me see. Let me see if I can do anything about that. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see. All right. Does that change anything? Let's see. I'm trying to hopefully see. Okay. Drop frames. Wow, there's a lot of frames dropping. The internet might not be kind with me today. Let's see if we're feeling better now. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. Let's give it a second. Oh my god. Whoa. Whoa. Okay. I think. Oh, what is this? Oh. Is that working? Is that working now? I think so. I see myself. Okay. I'm gonna go as if it is. You guys let me know if it's not. Anyways, so let's just get into the news. I felt like there was a lot of news stuff, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to talk about it. If the internet's gonna be cool with me. So let's go ahead and start with the marquee topic. Anything else? Nope. Okay, we're going to go straight into the show. Okay, guys. Robert Downey Jr. is back as Doctor Doom. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are, the internet is interneting, right? People are talking about how is this possible? This is IGN, obviously, the most reputable, knowledgeable people about movies because they make movies. And I'm being facetious, but I figured a lot of people just recognize them, and I can just kind of make fun of whoever wrote this. Um, it's their job, whatever. And yeah, so what, Saturday, Hall H. There was a big announcement that the Russos were officially back as directing Avengers 5 and 6, right? And they had some Fantastic Four stuff, I think, beforehand. I had a friend, shout out to Philip, Unfiltered, and he was like going to Hall H a lot, which was pretty cool. If you guys had seen the YouTube channel, then you guys know that we had been to Comic Con, and that's how we got to interact with like Andrea Romano and all these really cool people for the show later on. But yeah, Hall H was going crazy this year. They got a lot of Star Warsy stuff. Star Wars. Star Trek happened. Fantastic Four happened. Deadpool stuff happened. It's funny. I think the Deadpool hall was like, they thought it was just gonna be Deadpool and Wolverine, but they ended up getting a screening of the movie while they were there, which is like, how do you guys see that it's like a 3 hour long block? So I don't know. It's funny. But yeah, so yes, the Russo brothers introduced themselves. Hey, the next movie, we want to get the biggest boy in the world. Obviously, you can see all the reaction clips online, and all the headlines. Everyone's being like, Robert Downey Jr. is back in the MCU. The MCU is something you just don't ignore, right? It's something there. You don't have to really pay too much attention to, but it's something you just don't ignore anymore, because like, it is the cultural phenomena that we have lived in, and it has changed and warped media in their image in many regards, and not in a negative way. I'm just saying, like, when you play a game and someone does something and like the game warps to that, like, that's just the new game. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr., right? The epoch, the beginning of the MCU with Iron Man, comes back as Doctor Doom. And I think this is what a lot of people are potentially going to start reading, is this stuff. I don't know. Let's take a look real quick. Let's see what they're saying. I feel like such a big Twitch streamer now. All my conversation points is just reading someone else's conversation points, and then hopefully profiting off of it. Shared history. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? Iron Man has always been a technology prowess kind of guy, inventor guy, and the whole shtick with him and the Mandarin is that the Mandarin had 10 rings, and there would be magic versus technology, right? So Marvel Comics has had a lot of fun with doing that with Doctor Doom, because Doctor Doom, in being more of a Fantastic Four villain, has been like a more of the perfect crossroads between technology and magic. And magic is just science we have not figured out yet, blah, 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 whatever. But in the magic, right? Like, he does magic. I love the Fox Fantastic Four and their Doctor Doom, who was from Nip Tuck, and he had like electro bioluminescent powers, and I'm like, I'm cool with this. I don't give a damn, because like the suit looked cool, and it was like a good looking guy who got like one scar, and he's like, oh, I'm ugly now, so he wears the mask. And this, we're getting a whole different thing, right? I can only recommend absolutely anyone that's curious is to watch Comics Explain. Rob from Comics Explain, who's good friends with Benny from Comic Storian. They have been like my number one comic book resource. If I can't find the trades, or I can't find the singles, or if I don't know the history, I go into that. And they supplemented a lot of the knowledge that I have. I would say like I'm 50-50. I'm 50%. I know them. I know all my comic book knowledge is from them, and then half it's from what I've read. But it's probably slowly going to become like 70% them, 30% of what I've read in my lifetime. Because yeah, they have whole careers about this stuff. But they talked about like the what if story, and the what if story of if Doctor Doom was not Reed Richards' roommate and was actually Tony Stark's roommate, and how he bamboozles him to switch his mind, because Tony Stark, with all his resources and privilege, never really respected it, whereas Doctor Doom had to like really come up from the bottom and like make his way over at MIT with Tony Stark. So it could be that way. A lot of people are speculating that like they went to go grab a Tony Stark from another universe and then haphazardly grabbed one that's actually Victor Von Doom. There's a lot of things they could do. If you guys haven't watched the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, then and even Multiverse of Madness, right? Like, it's all but already announced that Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby will be portraying Reed Richards and Susan Storm. Where in Multiverse of Madness, we got a Reed Richards that was not Pedro Pascal. So, like, anything could happen. I think the big cataclysmic story, or the real news, is what do people think? How are people responding to it? I don't know. It's very weird. It's very half and half. I think there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh my god, we're so back," because that's just a trendy thing to do. And I hate when people say that shit. They're like, "Oh, this goes so hard." I'm like, you guys don't know what hard is, and if like a bus hit you. Like, announcements are announcements, right? Like, you could be excited for it, but if it doesn't pay off, then who gives a shit? That's like DC currently is their entire like MO, is just to be like announcement, and that's exciting and that's cool, and then who gives a shit? And you have the same thing with like Blade, right? So like, if you haven't watched Deadpool and Wolverine, they made a lot of jokes about like the state of the MCU in the terms of like an audience member, and it's a lot of it is a joke that like a lot of people don't find a lot of confidence currently in the comic book movie landscape. So does this bring that back? Are people excited about the I have no problems with this. He probably auditioned and got the role because he was best fit. That's possible. There are some people who never read for a role, so that's also possible. So wherever it is, the decisions are made. You have to think about like where they were at. They announced Kang Dynasty and they can't do it anymore, right? Or they decided to shift. They decided to go, cool, we're going another direction. And some people are like, "Oh, is the nostalgia great? Is that truly the most powerful thing that movies now have to offer? Is bringing back Robert Downey Jr., the guy who brought them to the epic proportions that they have, with also just as equally an epic now character." And again, Doctor Doom was always more epic than Iron Man was in the comic books until the movies came out. When the movies came out, Iron Man stratospherically rocketed up. So who knows? I'm never gonna knock a casting thing. I'm more like, well, let's see how it goes. Let's see where storytelling is. I feel like, hey JC, what's going on? I feel like there's so much they might have to explain with the fact that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Doctor Doom, just in terms of like how does this person look like he has the same face as blah blah blah. Like, I mean. I don't know, because that's the thing, right? Infinity War is very much a Thanos movie. Thanos has the most screen time. I think it's at like 22 or 19 to 22 minutes, and then you have all the other characters. So it's crazy, right? Just to spread amongst all these other characters, only 19 minutes solid out of this 2.5 hour long movie in Infinity War belongs to Thanos. And a lot of it is to explain who this character is, what they're doing, what their motivations are, and why, as an antagonistic force. And we ideally would see this way. I've seen a lot of people respond saying like, "Oh, take this man's Oscar away," and blah blah blah. And the jokes of like, when Oppenheimer actor went to go to Marvel, they end up getting the wrong guy, because a lot of people, I think, wanted to have like Cillian Murphy play Doctor Doom, which I don't know if that's Cillian Murphy's like MO or would like to do. But we're not the decision makers here. We are the consumers at this point, at this juncture. So it's up to you guys to use your dollars to see how much you want to support this thing. Let's move on to the next bit of news. Let's do panel hall H. I'm going to try to stay away from huge spoilers if I can. I don't want to spoil anything for people who don't, like to do that. But I will talk about like, hey, look, this is the news. This is all that was there. So Fantastic Four, first steps show off Galactus, the Fantastic Four fantastic car in San Diego Comic-Con's hall. It was pretty cool. This is like a drone, and they didn't have any wires and stuff like that. They had the cast show up, and they appeared, and there were some clips. They showed I won't show the clips in case anyone who doesn't want to see that kind of stuff. But at the end of the presentation, Kevin Feige and company asked people to go outside and see the drone fireworks show. If you haven't checked that out, there was a Galactus, as well as the symbol for the Fantastic Four, as well as a tidbit, a sneak peek, if you will, of Michael Giacchino's, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, the score for the Fantastic Four. And that's, I think I like those kind of presentations. Okay, of course I get a little. I like those kind of presentations because they tend to be a little bit more, you know, um, uh, subtle. Subtle, is that the word? I guess subtle is the right word. But yeah, they had a whole little guy here. Fantastic Four thing. Love not getting spoiled. Saw Deadpool 3 in the weekend. Of course, there's Captain America trailer. So, yeah. So I mean, for you, T Dog, this is like you are like the target audience, right? Talk about the news without spoiling everything. So it's like, I won't tell you, I won't show you it, but I'll tell you like things, and like this doesn't ruin the movie, right? Like they teased Galactus in a drone display. If you go to Hollywood Cemetery, or Hollywood Forever, right? I don't know what it's called, but they do a lot of drone shows, so like this is pretty cool. And apparently, to a lot of people who've gone to Comic Con, they've never done things like this where they do light shows. And I think this technology of like doing light shows with drones has been something in development for a while. So it's like cool. They're bringing it to Hall H to show some cool stuff. A lot of cast members from the MCU got like kind of reaction interviews, like, "Hey, Robert Downey Jr. comes back as Doctor Doom. What you think?" And everyone's pretty surprised. The Thunderbolts made an appearance, and they kind of just discussed their roles in the movie. Not a lot of buzz from there, but it was an exciting time. I'll just tell you right now, firsthand, as someone that was press, that was shooting stuff, that had a press badge, it was rather, I would guess to say it was too impacted. Normally, let's say my screen here, that's normally like the hall, and like right here at the top is like Hall H, and then here down is Hall A through G, and throughout this entire hall was everything. Normally they use this hall, another building, the Hilton, to house like more panels and like interviews and stuff like that. This year I think it was just mainly merch, and I'm like, God, you should have utilized that other building, because this was just, God, it was like too much. Like I only went Thursday and Friday, and it was just like I wore a white Wonder Woman shirt. We got there at like 3. By the end of the day, it was like maybe 8ish, 9 o'clock. My shirt was like my skin tone. Like I look like any like Macy's cosmetic girl after like she goes home from work, like nothing but brown all over. It was crazy. Fantastic Four, if not Doctor Doom, it's Galactus, so not a major spoiler. Exactly. See, I'm just saying, you saw the Fantastic car, Galactus, we saw the logo, the cast came, you heard, they previewed the score, so you might be seeing that. It was really funny because Corey had not seen Wolverine or Deadpool and Wolverine. And I had watched it the night before, right, on Wednesday, and he we're on Comic-Con on Thursday, and I just told Corey, like, don't be on the internet. Like, everyone's posting spoilers. Like, I got spoiled 2 times before Wednesday, like, about key characters, and I was like, not key characters, but like, like characters, that cameos. I was like, what the, guys, relax. We have 3 days before it actually like releases to the public. And it's so funny because like it feels like the whole like don't spoil it for everyone, it's like it's gone out the window. But anyways, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Let's move on to the next bit of news. Something that I kind of could give crap about. Um, New logo films. Yeah, DC Studios shows their new logo. Um, there was. It's interesting, right? There's no booth. There are booths, but there's like. It's interesting to like on the schedule for Comic Con. It's very like terribly written as a script. That you're just kind of like, oh god, like I don't want to look through all this shit. Corey had met Sean Astin, and he wasn't even on the schedule. Like he wasn't like you couldn't find his booth, which is weird, right? So there's a lot of weirdo stuff. So it's like, before weeks of Comic Con, a lot of people are like, oh, Marvel will not be at Hall H or DC will not be at Hall H, and then they end up being all at Hall H, and they're like, oh, secret. They're like, oh, secret thing, and I think that's to like deter people from like crazy packing up. Like I was trying to buy some DC merch, which is, you know, I never will. Like I think I will like I don't know how to deal with it because it's like the product is really expensive, and then the idea of making someone to pay someone so they could wait in line, or like if I have somebody who fucking loves me, like maybe, but it's like it was like way too ridiculous to just get in line to buy something at the DC booth. They would be maximum capacity, and they said keep going. Like you can't block like after the end of the line, and you like even if you're against the wall, you couldn't block. So it was like you couldn't wait, which is really weird. And it's like, okay, just keep walking, and then when it opens up, you can come in. I was like, but how are you gonna know it's like for me? And they're like, well, hopefully you're there. I was like, hopefully. And for 30 minutes, I walked around in a circle, like maybe 15 feet in diameter, a circle. And the moment two people would go out of the line, they were like, cool, the next two people, and then just randos would just walk in. I was like, what the, and this is how most booths were. Like that's how all the booths that like had high market, high value personnel or crew or merchandise, it was like. And I was like, this is the worst thing ever. Like whoever set all this up did not set anyone up for success. To even go upon that and then talk about some news. The Boys got some love because there was a big Sony TV, Apple TV Productions booth. It was kind of like an experience. Like you can kind of walk through. I don't know if you can likely like line up to go see it because they had a bunch of cameras set up, and I don't know if like it was to like promote showing like the cameras they use to shoot stuff. But out of nowhere, like I was waiting at the DC booth. Corey was waiting for the Sean Astin line, and then he texts me. He's like, "Hey, the Boys just walked in," and then they all just walked into that booth, and it was like it was like a little discerning for me because like there's children, right? Like as grown adults, whatever, and it's like, but if you don't care about the Boys and you weren't ready for this stuff, it was a little like claustrophobic. Like I was like, oh man, people are like crunched up, and it's like trying to like get a hole, like a face inside of like a hole, which was like at some point it's like, yes, I understand celebrity is a real thing, but it's like god. Yeah, I got two spoilers as well. I saw it Saturday morning. It was already seeing clips on YouTube. Yeah, that's rough. TikTok sucks. TikTok generation, you suck. Waiting damn lines, asshole, dude. And that's the thing. They wouldn't like make the line bigger. They were just like, this is the end of the line. Then you keep going. Then I was like, how do I come back? And I was like, when should I come back? I was like, oh, in 10 minutes. I was like, is the line gonna go away? It's like, well, we let people in. And it's like, well, then what's the point of waiting? You should just no. We kill the line for 10 minutes, and then we let in 10 new people come in. It's like, cool, that's cool. But no one was doing that. And everyone was like, it was terrible. It was truly not a great experience for line waiting. However, I will say, like, if you want to do more experiential stuff or see cool artwork, like we saw the Alex Ross stuff, I got to play some Yu-Gi-Oh! And they had like this whole demo setup and all that. They really want people to play. Like they were giving out demo decks that like were like fully scripted. So it's like, cool. Player A will do this. Player B will do this. Player A, so it's like you'll learn how to play the game. And Corey got super hyped. They gave away Marvel Rivals Steam codes for the closed beta going on, and I got some. And if you saw it on YouTube or saw it on Sunday, then you saw I was playing it. And like there was enough things. If you truly were there for the Comic-Con experience, for like seeing the vendors and seeing all the stuff that's like ancillary to like actual comic books, I'm not saying movies aren't ancillary, but like I think a lot of people now conflate that Comic-Con's all about movie announcements instead of like the comic stuff, because there's Jim Lee doing signings and Jim Lee and Friends, and they're doing announcements and they're selling like premium edition versions of like new comics coming out, and there was a big Goon setup, there was Top Cow, there was Boom Studios. It was really cool, and Amy Jo Johnson was there at Boom Studios, I believe, where they do the Power Rangers, and as well as where Keanu Reeves has his Berserker comic book there, and there's a lot of cool things. Let's go on to another piece of news that I want to discuss and share that's not San Diego Comic-Con related. If there is news thing that you guys want me to talk about, I'm happy to share, but it's kind of like there's so much that I'm like, which one's important and which one's pertinent to you guys without the spoilers. But let's go to, oh look, it's Instagram. And this is our Instagram. This is the Nerd on the podcast Instagram, and you guys should check it out if you guys haven't. I've done some rearranging. These 3 pinned ones I think are the most like they share like what we're all about in the most ways. But if you haven't seen this video, maybe I'll post it on YouTube. But I can't click it. I can't watch it because I'm not logged in. But we have some podcasts coming up. We got some podcast releases coming up. Post on Twitter at least. Okay. I'll post on Twitter right after this. Almost. I could do it now, but I'll post it later. We got some podcasts coming out. As early as August. As early as 2 weeks from now, we'll have a new Nerd on the Podcast podcast. I'll announce right now. It's the first episode is going to be Everything Everywhere All at Once. Those who are on Patreon already listened to it, and 2 weeks from now is 2 weeks into August. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's the second week of August. And it will be the first of several podcasts. We are still recording podcasts. We're kind of shifting into a season-based thing, although it won't show up on our podcast feed as seasons. The way we are going to record them and shoot them is going to be in a season-based. Just to let you guys know, like we are, at least we are definitely fighting against burnout and over. What would I say? Over engagement into other projects. A lot of us have a lot of brewing and bubbling things. I'm at this point where I don't have a stable income, so I'm having to like jump and grab jobs as much as I can. So it's been really difficult for me to kind of like schedule that life. But with our podcast, this has been something we've been working on for better majority of the year now at this point, of record, hold it, so that we can give you guys podcasts very consistently. And so starting next month in August, you'll get new podcasts every month, ideally for the foreseeable future. We banked enough that I think we are in a good spot where even when the holiday, we'll be taking a break from recording on November, December, and January. So Everything Everywhere All at Once. If you want to see some of our podcasts that we already done, check out our Patreon. And it's not going to be in the order that we record it. That's part of programming and marketing and all that stuff to figure out like, okay, cool. Like this should be the first episode. This should be the second, third, blah, blah. And, ideally we get back into a rhythm of potentially maybe 2 episodes a month, maybe 3. It just depends. Right now, I will be more than happy that if we get a consistent recording schedule that that you guys can enjoy, and I would really, really appreciate a lot of feedback, because we do change it. Gonna ride the wave, not fight it. Appreciate it. I really appreciate a lot of feedback, because we did pull a lot of the elements of the skeleton from the show. In particular, Guess That Grump is no longer going to be a part of it. There isn't a hard line. We talk about the intro. We talk about the production. We talk about this. I felt like, for me, those became a little too too strict, as well as they might have taken away the enjoyment for someone hosting it that wasn't me. I felt like I really enjoyed like a rating system. I really enjoyed this kind of breakdown of the production and the history of the filmmaking. But I realized if I want to be able to take a break as a host, then I have to be able to have a version of the show uh, that someone else can do. It reminds me, I need to ask Corey who was the guesser Grump Galore of 2022. He answered that actually in 2023 at the end of the year. I don't know if you were there, T-Dog, but I think it was me. I was like, Corey, where is your last findings? And he was like, Tom, it's you. Yeah, it was an update, because you asked that as an update question in 2022, and for 2023, I kept just knocking him in the balls, being like, you gotta answer that question, baby. And he finally was like, cool, this is the last thing. So it was pretty funny, the way it concluded and all. But yeah, podcast is coming back. Again, we're a slow roll it. I want to try to promote it a little bit more, and ideally try to work with other new creators that want to do different things in the podcast space, or maybe not outside the podcast space. I think there's a potential with Corey and I to do some magic-led podcasts. So that could be interesting. Or it could be, again, you're seeing on our YouTube channel, most recently we did our first for real episode of Cardboard Champs, which is a Commander play along series that we do want to put into, because we do play, like, let's say this, between the amount of games recorded to the games played, it's about like 1 to 700. So like if we can record maybe 10% of those, we would be able to, like, we would have a whole series of shows for you guys to watch. So again, I appreciate all of the patience, and there is a concerted amount of effort for us to involve you guys into the show, as well as bring you guys some of the things that you love and what brought you in to begin with. But yeah, that's the Nerd On news. Whoops, news for us. I'll put it on Twitter then. I'll put it on Twitter for T-Dog. I think it's pretty cool. This video right here is pretty cool. I like it. And they're not an update, you might say. I might say that. And let's get out of this. Is there anything else that I should cover before I get to the questions? Maybe not, maybe so. For those who for those who might have been watching every Monday, that's exactly why we don't record certain Mondays, because recording the podcast. There will be some times in the month of August where I will not be on the update. Ideally, the other host will host it. But we might actually record 2 episodes in the month of May and September. So it just depends. Keep an eye on that. And check out the Patreon as much as you can. And let's move on to questions. So I got some questions in here. And if you want to send your questions over to us so that we can answer it live, part of the Nerd On Update, there's also a concerted effort. It's like maybe the Nerd On Update goes back on the air on the podcast. Who knows? I just want to make sure that on the post-production end, we're okay. Because if anyone gets burnt out, then the whole machine falls, which is pretty rough. It's kind of like, it's not a tripod, it's like a train on a track. And if like I pull one track out, then like the whole train falls down. It's kind of weird. Okay, so questions. If you want to send questions over to the show, you can go to nerdon.tv/Patreon, support the show for $1 a month, and then you'll get sent it. You can put it onto the Discord, or you can send it through the Patreon app. You go to nerdon.tv/Discord to just join the Discord, free. But you can send questions over like Black Devil Mamba, who asked a pretty interesting question. Question is, would you rather not communicate a single word to anyone for the rest of your life or always speak what's on your mind forever? Very easy question for me. I'd rather not speak a single word for the rest of my life. I find that we can sign, we can make sounds, but if I always have to speak of what's in my mind forever, I would probably alienate more people than I would like to admit. I think Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all the social media apps is a fair example to show why people shouldn't know what everyone's thinking about at all times. Or we shouldn't even be looking into what people are thinking about days ago, months ago, years ago. Because people change, people grow, and not everything needs to be on the internet. I think things that are nourishing, fun, educational, entertaining, sure. But a lot of people just prioritize the entertaining at no matter the cost, and that shit sucks because it's just devaluing and ruining like people's expectations of reality as well as what is quote unquote good, valuable on the internet. I see a question that T Dog asked. I'm gonna go ahead and answer that real quick in the chat. Fuck, Mary, kill Dr. Doofenshmirtz, Danny DeVito, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Who the heck is Dr. Doofenshmirtz? Can I look this up? Is this gonna like kill my computer? I'm like, hey, you looked up something. You know, now you're on the list. Oh, it's the dude from Phineas and Ferb. Well, that is a little outside of my age range because I was not a Phineas and Ferb kid. But it was this, Danny DeVito and Bill Nye the Science Guy. I'd marry Dan DeVito because that dude is super nice and kind as a human being, down to make some cool stuff. If you don't know the Matilda story, then God help you. You should read the Matilda story of what Danny DeVito did for who is Matilda movie? Who is the actor? The actor Mara Wilson. Oh, amazing. And Bill Nye the Science Guy. I will kill this doctor. I will do the with Bill Nye, and I will marry Dan DeVito. Easy question. All right. Next question from the bucketed list I have from Brad, and this is good. I'm glad I got this one because, or I'm glad I saved this one for a while because remind me next week. Remind me if anyone. Oh, we're not going to record next week. Next week is a podcast recording. But next time we do an update, remind me. Ask if anyone's seen Squid Game. I think I'm the only one that's seen Squid Game. I feel like I'm the only one that's seen Squid Game. I can't be sure, but I think I'm the only one that's seen Squid Game. But Brad asked, Season 2 of Squid Game is expected to hit Netflix in December of this year. Which childhood games are you hoping to see in this season? I don't know how they'll do it. I'd want to see Tetherball because I love Tetherball. I imagine it being like hot potato. You hit it, and then like every ball has a timer, and if you hit it, it might explode and you die. Or did they do hopscotch? I don't think they did hopscotch. I would love to see hopscotch, but again, they're not American childhood games. They're all Korean games. So I don't know any Korean games. There's a game that I used to like to play a lot in high school called Kajabi. I don't know what it's called in other terms, but I know it might have other names. Pretty much, again, you are like 5 or so kids around a trash can flipped upside down. So it's like the bottom of it's up, and it's not too high. It's not like a crazy brute one, but it's tall enough where you can hop over it. And you are pulling yourself, and you're trying to get your opponents, people to your right and your left, to like hit the trash can or let go of the ropes, or if you want to be nice, when they fall down. I played it where if you fell down, if you got back up, it doesn't matter. So as long as you didn't let go of the ropes and you didn't hit the trash can. And uh, yeah, I would love to see that. But that's just a very violent game. I would say Foursquare would be cool. Foursquare would be interesting. I would have to see what the gimmick is, right? Like, sorry. Are they playing on like glass, and if the ball hits, does it shatter? You know, so could be that. Um, what else is there? I think there could be something for. There's a game we used to play called. It's not a great term. I'll just call it Unalive, and you'd get a tennis ball, and you would throw it at the wall as hard as you can, so that if it bounced back, if someone grabbed the ball before you touched the wall, then they can throw the ball at you and you're out. So like it would incentivize kids to throw the ball as hard as they could so it bounced so far away, kids would just be like running to grab the ball and they would chuck it at their friend. And it's all tennis balls. And I remember one time we played it at my elementary school, and there were the giant walls, and we had been throwing this tennis ball at this wall for so long throughout the year. At one point, the ball just cracked into the wall, and they're like, "Cool, the game's over." Red Rover, that's like red light, green light, but Red Rover could be cool. Could be interesting. I feel like they had to put some kind of like brain thing in there where it's like you could only cross like your partner, and you have to figure out who your partner is based on something. And so it's like behind you, maybe there's like lawn mowers that are gonna mow you down or something like that if you don't get over. But yeah, Brad, interesting question. I'm going to move on to the next question, which is from Jose Cipher. Jose Cipher asks, favorite use of mixed media in TV or movies? What is mixed media? I'm going to look that up. Mixed media. Artworks composed of a combination of different medias or materials. Oh. Mixed media, TV, and movies. Sorry, everyone. You'll have to forgive me. It's been warmer today, and it's only going to get hotter during the week, so like it's been warm. Oh my god, her eyeball. She's a Powerpuff Girl. Okay. Mixed media. Mixed media. Huh. Let's look up TV shows. Let's look up TV shows. Okay, no. I have not watched that. Nope. Okay, this is when you type in mix, it just gives you the terrible thing. Maybe Batman Ninja because it's modern Batman is shoved into a ninja era. Stargate. Interesting. Okay. That wasn't that helpful. Mixed media TV shows. That's a lot of anime. It's a lot of anime. Interesting. There's not a lot of examples of this. Let's look up mixed media movies, maybe. Let's take a look. Mixed media movies. Osmosis Jones. Yes, I problematic movie. Good. Yeah, that's a good example. Space Jam. Okay, okay, okay. My brain is working now. My brain is working now. Okay. Lizzie McGuire as a TV show. Okay, 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 okay. Monty Python. That's a really good example. Phantom Toll Booth. I mean, you got Page Master. You got James and Giant Peach. Yeah, these are great. Um, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Classic. Classic. I guess King Kong and Godzilla's match because it's like stop motion for the early ones, right? Um, Rocky and Bullwinkle, Tom and Jerry. Um, Flintstones, Viva Rock Vegas, right? No, they don't use animation. That the actual Gazoo is a real dude. Although they should have used an animated guy. What else is interesting? Um, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think. Ooh, I really like TV show. I'm just gonna say it just to be cool because I'm a hipster dude and I want to be for variety. Um, what's the show? Christopher Maloney in Happy. That show was dope. Very interesting. So like this is like an actual still where like real life and an imaginary like unicorn dude. And Chris Maloney is like a hard boiled cop who is like about to die and he goes some crazy stuff. The cinematography is really crazy. And this was like the height of like comic book TV shows because it was a sci-fi show and I believe this is a Grant Morrison comic book. Let me see. Let me just double check. Yeah, Grant Morrison comic book. Based on a graphic novel, the same name. Nick Sachs is a corrupt, intoxicated ex-cop turned hitman who is adrift in a twilight world of casual murder, soulless sex, and betrayal. After a hit goes wrong, Nick finds a bullet in his side, the cops and the mobs on his tail, and a monstrous killer on the loose. But his world is about to change forever by a tiny imaginary blue-winged horse with a relentlessly positive attitude named Happy. So, just comedy ensues like you can't imagine. That's my favorite my TV show, Happy. I have not watched season 2 of it, but I will say that was like insanely well done for me. I think as a execution and especially just casting, great for a movie. Let's think of a movie. I mean, you got Watchmen, right? Because you had these like intercut, you know, moments of the comic book that happens in the Watchmen comic book. What's the Watchmen comic book in movie? In book. What is it? It's like something Black Sails. It's pirates. Pirates. Tales of the Black Freighter. Yeah, it's a comic book inside the comic book. In the movie and in the director's big boy cut of Watchmen, they put actual Tales of the Black Freighter, I think voiced by Gerard Butler. So it was really cool to see like the relationship from 300 continue. Trying to think. Favorite used mixed media. I mean, Lizzie McGuire is pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. It's an animated version of your inner conscience talking to you, and directly talking to the audience. Again, for a, it's not young adult. It's barely a teenager show, but it's like a preteen, 10 to 12-year-old age range. What a great, when Lizzie McGuire is like happy or sad, her little avatar thing's bouncing with the big red ball or upset or, it says what, it's if anything, it's kind of like the go-to of the anime internal monologue, right? Except it's an actual animated character talking to you. So, I think that's cool to see that, embraced in a big way, like in Disney Channel. And apparently it has like a a cameo in How I Met Your Father, because Hilary Duff stars in that one, and they do a flashback. It's like, oh, what was it like in your younger years, and it shows that. And I'm like, so are you saying that this is Lizzie McGuire? Like, it's a very weird like callback, but I'm like, hey, you're bringing it back. I'm cool. Is there another one that I could think of? Oh, I mean, I feel like there has to be a movie with like an animated dog in there. There has to be a movie with an animated dog out of nowhere that like makes it a mixed media movie. I mean, Scooby Doo as a CGI character doesn't count. I think it has to be 2D versus 3D 3D world, right? Like 3D characters live in a 3D world, but like 2D characters, whatever, don't. It's Nathaniel. Hello. Favorite use in a movie outside Watchmen? I mean, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is just like is a classic go to, right? It's if Corey and I would say it's a gimme, right? It's like hey, like that's there. It's no matter what. Yes, of course. Let me look at the movies one more time, one more again, just to like see a good option. Because I like that. I like that a lot.
It's spanking time.
It is. I mean, Osmosis Jones, man. Even though Kid Rock has a very effed up song in there, and the movie's really weird, man, I do like it because it's weird, right? It's about this like gross man who doesn't take care of his body, and then like inside of his body is a buddy cop movie where a white blood cell doesn't want to get along with like, I'm the rules and I read from the book, straight man, 24-hour, pill, who's played by Hyde, something Hyde, David Hyde Pierce, which is just so good. It's just so good. At the airport, we just want to say I love you too. You're still at the airport? Why haven't you flown yet? Chris Rock as Stone, Lawrence Fishburne as Thrax during the height of the fear of the anthrax. Like, it's just like a pretty smartly conceived movie. Is it super well and family friendly? I don't know, man. I think it's a little risque because I think they go real hard in the like, let's talk about police like corruption and stuff like that. You landed. Oh yeah, the series is good, but the series is all animated. That was the funny thing, that like when they went to the show, the series animated, there's like, we're going all animated. I used to watch the series too. I used to watch the series quite a bit. There's part of me that, man, in this time of like super technology at this point and meta and the metaverse and all that stuff, we are like due for like a really cool live action version of Mega Man Battle Network, but the Mega Man character is still going to be animated, but like the dude, like we get live action people. I think that would be dope. But that's just me. I think that's all the questions from the pre-selected bin. So I'm going to go ahead and erase these. But let's see if I have any questions from the chat bin, which I can look at. Do I have anything that I've asked before? Oh, I mean, this is a classic question, and I love this question because it's always good to like come back to every once in a while. It's from Mamba. What is your favorite new meme, skit, or clip that someone else has sent you so far in 2024? I know I have 2 questions in the bin. Not sure if you're saving them. 2 questions in the bin. Let me see what questions you're talking about. I am saving those. And this is the thing. I'll give you a little insight into my thought process on questions. I pick questions based on the hosts. If there's a question, like your anime one, if it's just me and Josh, I'm not going to pick it. If it's me and Corey, I'll pick it. If it's me, Corey, and Amy, I'll pick it. If it's me, Josh, and the Steves, I won't pick it. Like I pick very specific questions so that I can actually get a good response. There are skills when it comes down to knowing how to bullshit answers, and I want to make sure that all of our hosts can do it properly. Because I'm the best bullshitter out of all of them. So if I don't know what answer, I'll be like, oh, you know what? I don't know. Let me take a look. And the second question is a question that is not best suited for one person. I think that's best suited for everyone, because everyone could talk about it. And that's the thing where like I'll talk about a question that I could talk about easy, and I'll make a meal out of it. Some folks can't make a meal out of some questions, and I'm like, cool, we're gonna pivot off that question. That's the level of hosting I go into where I'm like, when I think about that kind of stuff, you know. But favorite new meme or skit someone else sent me in 2024 so far. I mean, right now, I think the most popular one that I've seen amongst friends is the bad ape from from Planet of the Apes, from War of the Planet of the Apes. Is oh no! I think I'll just look it up. Why am I going to talk about it when I could show you? Oh no, bad ape meme. Jesus Christ. It's this guy? Oh no. Let me just do a GIF. Yes, it's a GIF. Are you gonna play it? Are you gonna preview it for me? Come on, man. Preview it to me. There you go. Oh no. And you know, it's just good to show anything like if you're like like something terribly went wrong and you want to make a little joke out of it. Great use. I actually kind of really like the Starman meme right now. I don't know where it came from, but pretty much what it is you play Starman from Dave Bowie, and you show like clips of like things that will restore your faith in humanity. And typically it's like people being saved from like catastrophic tragedies, like a boyfriend like ducking out of traffic and pushing his girlfriend out of the way in front of like away from a speeding car, or like a guy who's like trying to save a dog off train tracks, or like it's like that stuff, or like you know, a kid's getting picked on and then like a guy comes and bullies the bullies, and it's just always like the Starman chorus. And I think the meme is like they're saying Starman when this is Superman. I don't know what the meme is, but I just like, this is wholesome, I'm cool with this. Like, I don't know what this is, and I don't know why it is, but I'm okay with this. I'm cool with that. Lately, I really enjoy Ryan Gosling's Blade Runner 2049 meme. You put anything, and then you like this. You put Misato from Evangelion. I think that's pretty funny. I mean, this is I just posted this one today. Not this one specifically, but it's just kind of like, what I like about it is it's Ryan seeing the version of himself that can be happy against himself. And I'm like, there's something very poignant about that. You know, or this, where it's just like giant Barbie and him, and it's like, you know, it's very meta, but like, this is just very iconic to me, of just like a broken dude who's just like, I gotta keep going. My favorite one's when he's saying, so when she brings you over to show you booty, but all she shows you is her butt. The pic of Pirate Steve from Dodgeball looking sad. Yeah, that's pretty good. I do like, there is a funny one that I like, of like, you put whatever show you love, and there's like this like anime girl who's like sitting on her bed, and she's like lifts her shirt off to her laptop that has like Boruto or whatever anime. It's just like, it's so stupid because it's kind of like, it's like sexy hot for weeboos, but then like, I don't know, it's just degenerate stuff that I think is pretty funny. That's the kind of humor I like. I like very cancelable humor, unfortunately. And I'm not truly mean like cancelable as in like I'm politically stirring the pot because I can. I mean like very profane words and, you know, a little racist, a little misogynistic, but like in the wild and out kind of way where it's like people are making fun of each other. It's not like I'm a black guy making fun of Asian people and there's no Asian people talking shit back. That's why like I think Rush Hour works very well, is because they're both doing racial slurs at each other, and it's like cool, like they're going back and forth, and everyone's just being like, "Oh, he said that," and then, you know, that's why you get the buddy cop movies, right? That's what you can actually have the odd couple at odds and say what people enjoy hearing people argue and say. Um, what else? Other memes I've been enjoying. You know, I actually this is a stupid one. This is a stupid one. Frog. Um, I'm all out of spells. Is this the one? No. Oh, is it the wizard? I think it's the wizard. I'm all out of spells. I don't know if this is a meme, but it's just more like a dank. Uh, yeah. I might be out of shell. I might be out of spells, but I'm not out of shells. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. What's a frog? Frog with gun meme. I think it's like it's this it's like this one. But I have to figure out. Oh, man, there's like a really funny like text with it that I've been seeing so often, and like in Magic I play with a lot of frogs, so like everyone sends me a lot of frog stuff, and so I'm slowly becoming a frog man, which I don't know why. I don't know why. I have a hanging orb in my room right there. Yeah, I know, right? It's my lamp. It's my lamp. Um, it just hangs above me. Um, what is there any other meme that I really enjoy? Huh. Let me. I don't want to. Hold on. I'm gonna take it off real quick. I have to be like a real streamer now, right? Best 2024 memes. You got distracted boyfriend. Oppenheimer memes. Dog clapping. No, I don't think there's anything more to that. Oh, I mean, I do like hold on. Not that one. This one. I do like this one a lot. I do like this one a lot. The you mess up your whole life and then you blame someone else. So typically it's just like you know, DC fans don't go to their own movies, falls on their face, like they blame Snyder fans. I'm like I think those are pretty funny to me. And typically it's like, you know, oh, look at me come to to get the accountability of my own actions kind of like stuff, where it's like bad stuff happens, you do something terrible, it's like, and then you cause it. It's the Eric Andre, who this one, like who shot Hannibal. So yeah, I think this is pretty funny. I usually enjoy that one. What other ones I think I enjoy? Trying to figure out if there's one more. If not, maybe there's just one last one. Or I just go ahead and rate over. Is Brad streaming tonight? Let me just take a look. Nope, he's not. Let's see if anyone else is streaming. Or if there's a suggest to stream. There's a little K who's doing some dance. She is just existing, and I'm just looking respectfully, but I see why people might be. Oh, Miss Gina Darling. Yeah, we'll go right over to there. She's cool people. She's like 1 degree away from me. I guess they had their birthday, so give them a happy birthday if you got no one else to watch. We're gonna be streaming over there or rain over there. Thank you everyone for swinging by. The Nerd On Update, the solo show with Tom. Hope you enjoyed all the Robert Downey Jr., Dr. Doom, San Diego Comic-Con new podcast episodes, as well as the questions we had to answer today. Check out the podcast next 2 weeks for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Take care of yourselves, stay hydrated, and you know the drill. As always, nerd on.